Yesterday when I came to you, we were talking to you about threatening text messages that parents in the Johnston School District are getting on their phones regarding their kids. Very disturbing text messages. A little bit later in the show, we went to a news conference where the police and the Johnston School Superintendent were talking about these threatening text messages, which had canceled classes yesterday in the Johnston School District. And the words were brought up, data breach. So I emailed my favorite cybersecurity expert, Shawn Tuma, and I said, Shawn, have you heard about any kind of hacking that involves threatening text messages to students? He said, yes, I have. I said, Shawn, please come on the show and talk to me. And I'm so pleased because I know he's on the road. He's a busy guy, but our cybersecurity expert, Shawn Tuma, is with me this morning. Shawn, welcome back to WHO in Des Moines. Good morning, sir.
Thank you, Jeff. Good morning.
So have you heard of incidents, Shawn, where people have obtained the phone numbers of, say, parents in a school district and sent messages, text messages to them?
Not exactly with the text messages part, but where they have had other communications, yes. And I also have personally represented organizations in data breach context where the hackers used as part of the extortion to try to get you to pay them the threat of sending messages to customers and have followed through with that in some regard.
So it is entirely possible. You and I, Shawn, we talk, and I've joked with you almost on a weekly basis now because there's so many cybersecurity incidents going around, but there definitely is the possibility that a database could be hacked that contains phone numbers and messages could be sent on those phone numbers, correct? And the reason I'm asking you, Shawn, is because when I started talking about this story yesterday, I started getting my own text messages on my American Toppers and Accessory text line that said, Jeff, I don't understand. Why can't they just trace the phone number back to whoever's sending these messages and they'll find their criminal? But this is complex. This could be a cyber hacking, correct?
Yeah, it certainly could. And there was another school district in Montana that had a similar event. And the hacker that was after them was it's a group that goes by the name of the Dark Overlord. And they're known for their extortion tactics. And I've had clients that I've represented through data breaches that were attacked by them. And it's not only possible, it's probable. Because if you understand the way hackers work, they're trying to make money. When you go after a target, like in 2014, you take payment card data that you can go sell and make money from on the black market. When you go after a healthcare company, you can sell those records to make money. When you attack a school district, what are you going to make money from? Either encrypting their database and making them pay you to get it back. But if you have backups, you don't have to do that, so you can say, I'm not paying. And then they say, well, we have the data on the families that go there, their contact information, so pay us or we're going to start intimidating these people. This is very predictable for hackers.
Now, of course, the police, I want to emphasize, are being very quiet about their investigation, so we don't know any of these details, but I'm talking to Shawn about experiences that he's familiar with in the past. My suspicion, Shawn, first of all, when I started seeing these messages is it possible that people could just be wanting to be mean here? Because, of course, these text messages, the ones I've seen, are very disturbing. Could it be just disturbed individuals that get this information and just are getting their jollies, for lack of a better term, scaring people?
Theoretically, it's certainly possible. It could be anyone who has a motive of intimidating or harassing. My guess, though, the probable situation would be hackers were able to get into the network. They probably were able to download the telephone numbers, from the parents.
Right.
And they are just running it through a protocol where they're just sending out messages trying to apply pressure to get the school district to pay them some money.
Now, that was what was interesting was that the Johnston parents were told, Shawn, don't engage these people. But, of course, some of them did. Some of the parents, being parents, they're going to say, you know, I'm going to find you and I'm going to. And the texters were responding back to them. So they're monitoring replies to them, it seems. And that's, like you said, running through a protocol, they can do that, correct?
Sure. And look, it's a very dangerous game to engage these people because this is all they do is manipulate people via the cyber realm. And when you're engaging them, each response you're giving them is providing a little bit more information about you for that mosaic that they're building, whether it's to commit fraud against you or whatever else. I would strongly recommend that, you know, other than law enforcement, you don't engage with them. I mean, none of us are, you know, the father in Taken. We're not going to track them down. We don't have those capabilities. And there's nothing to be gained by it. There's nothing at all to be gained by engaging them.
Okay, I think that is great advice. That's advice that local law enforcement have been providing to the parents, Shawn, and I appreciate you reinforcing that. And, of course, I assume that it's very complicated to try to track these people back to where they're sending these messages from. They've already thought about all the possibilities, correct?
Oh, sure. These are people that know how to use, 20 different networks to cover their tracks when they attack a target. They certainly know how to use voice over internet protocol type calling systems, relaying it off of servers around the world, things like that, text messaging services, what have you, to cover their tracks. It's not as simple as like we used to think, where you got Ma Bell on the other end, you just keep them on the phone for a few minutes and you can track them. Doesn't work like that anymore.
That is Shawn Tuma, our cybersecurity expert here on WHO Radio. Shawn, thanks for taking the time today. That was really good information to provide. Appreciate hearing from you.
You're very welcome, Jeff. Thank you.
So Shawn Tuma there, again, re-emphasizing what local law enforcement has told you, which is don't engage these people. It's tempting. I saw the messages. I thought about him as a dad. Absolutely, you wanted to say, and Shawn made the Taken reference, where you're like, I will find you. I will end you. That is your temptation. That's a terrible Liam Neeson imitation. I know that. I admit it. But he's saying, please, that only makes the situation worse. Get the information to the police. Do not engage these people if you are getting a threatening text, even though everything in your fiber of your being as a parent is telling you to do so.